kiss. Keep it simple, stupid.
Hashtag look it up. Hashtag look it up. Hashtag look it up.
What is this? Where am I?
She said, "Get up, soldier. Embrace the suck." Oh, yeah. Woo! Let's make deposits into the bank of knowledge. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Trebles Show. I am Trebles Garcia, your humble host. It sounds redundant for me to say the Trebles Show and then Trebles Garcia, but I don't freaking care. You're here to watch me anyway. Let's freaking go. Ladies and gentlemen, drop a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. That allows other people to enjoy the show. And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Drop a comment. All the new followers, bro. Ever since I did that one episode with Dirty Diana, her name is Diana the Patriot chick. She's actually going to come and talk about some AI stuff. And today, actually, the special guest today, she's also going to talk about some AI stuff. So I'm hoping you guys stick around to the end of the show and enjoy it. Make sure you check out her channel. Guys, the most important thing that you can do for the show today is word of mouth. Check us out on all podcast platforms, please. I am wrecked. I don't want to be here. I was telling right now, Jessica Jones, I don't want to be here. But behind this freaking mic, I get to be super Trebles. I get to be a superhero. I get to live my dreams. I get to speak with the people that I resonate and love. I'm not sugarcoating that. I'm not trying to give you a show. I'm being me. I'm being the happiest I can be in one of the worstest moments in my freaking life. Now, let's jump in from the deep end of the pool and set the freaking mood. Today, I have returning guest, amazing content creator. She has a beautiful show, a beautiful channel with beautiful people in her chats. Her followers are amazing. Jessica Jones, the Huntress. Welcome back. How are you?
What's up, Trebles? I'm great. Thank you for having me tonight. I'm sorry you're having a rough day. And like I said before the show, I was like, what did I say? Embrace the suck. Okay. I've been there. I don't know what you're going through, but listen, from someone who's gone through the worst of the worst. And I experienced the best of the best. And right now I'm somewhere in the middle, and it gets better. I promise. Like I said, I don't know what you're going through, but I'm saying an extra prayer for you today.
Thank you. I would appreciate that. That's all I could ask for my friends. And you know what? That's actually the most powerful thing that people can offer me right now. Mm-hmm. Also, now, where can people find you? You have something to tell me about a time traveler and AI history, please. First of all, let them know where they can find you.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm known as the Cryptid Huntress, and I have a YouTube channel called the Cryptid Huntress. I have a website. You can go find me at thecryptidhuntress.com. I'm all over social media. Just look for the Cryptid Huntress or Jessica Jones. And I think on X, I'm Huntress Jessica. And but that's the only one that I'm not the Cryptid Huntress over there. But if you typed it in, you'd probably find me, the Cryptid Huntress.
I try to make sure you check it out. And also in the description of the show, you guys are watching on YouTube, take the moment right now. You don't need to even pause the thing. Just go to the description and then click on her name and then subscribe. You don't have to look at your channel. Just hit subscribe. Anyway, all right, Jessica Jones. What is this about that you told me you had an episode with a real-time traveler from the Montauk Project? Hit me with that. What's going on?
Well, it's really interesting. I know a lot of really interesting people. And a good friend of mine his name is Arkeem Ra, and he recently went viral all over social media for exposing, kind of talking about some of his time travel stuff. You know, those e-files. I don't know if we want to say it out loud, like say the words. You know how social media is, but those e-files that got they released them, and and it turns out he and I have been doing a lot of work together for a while, because Arkeem is actually he's a survivor of the Montauk Project. And for people
classic conspiracy theory.
Well, it's not just a conspiracy theory. I've been to Montauk. I've been to Camp Hero with a bunch of the Montauk survivors. Whoa. And so I have been neck deep in this for a while, and it's all about the MK Ultra mind control. There was an Air Force base. Now it's not completely closed down because it's a state park now, or a federal park, national park, I guess. But it's up in Montauk, New York, on the very northern tip of Long Island, New York. There's a place, it's a defunct, I guess you call it, Air Force base. And back during I guess it was the Cold War. I mean, maybe even World War II. Maybe I'm not sure how far back it goes, but they used that as an Air Force base. And what they did was they tried to cover it up like a fisherman's town, which is really crazy. So they had like the church is actually a basketball recreation area. The barracks look like homes and stuff. Like they had totally camouflaged it, if you know what I mean. And
Yeah.
but underneath it, they have like a deep underground type of a facility, I guess, and that's where they were doing all these projects, these programs from back in the 1980s and beyond. It's what the show Stranger Things is based off of. There's actually
Everybody's into that.
the Sage radar tower is one of the most iconic pieces of, the most iconic structures at Camp Hero, and it's a big old radar tower, and they actually do feature that in Stranger Things. But the whole entire show, the Stranger Things, is based off of the Montauk Project. And like I said, I'm friends with a lot of the survivors of that. We took a trip up there 2 years ago and spent a week up there at Camp Hero with them. And we went up there because it actually was the 20-year anniversary of the biorhythmic portal, where the USS Eldridge was said to reappear every 20 years, stuck in a time loop. And they utilized this energetic natural portal every 20 years. They say that it just kind of shows up. So we went with a huge group of people, a bunch of survivors of this project, who, by the way, it was an MK Ultra time traveling teleportation black project, basically, of our government.
Dude,
and,
what the crap?
And what they were doing, they were kidnapping children. This is all for entertainment purposes only. Okay. They were, I have historians of Camp Hero who are very good friends of mine. People who are actually Bigfoot field researchers that go out there and research that property, who have pictures of Junior, who was part of that program. Junior is a Bigfoot that was conjured there. It's basically like what they show as a Demogorgon on Stranger Things. That would be Junior. Okay. And these creatures, these beings, were actually being manifested through thought forms and through PK, like psychokinetic abilities of these children, like 11 on Stranger Things. They were putting them through these horrific experiments where, let's just call it like remote viewing. I'm a longtime trained remote viewer. And so they were doing experiments with children with that. They even had an LSD room there where they were experimenting with that. And I have to assume they're probably giving that stuff to the kids too. But it was for time travel experiments and things like that. So you can
one thing is to astral travel. Another one is to interdimensional travel, which, if you guys want to know why I think trees are portals, you guys got to go check out my Liminal Tree presentation. Book should be out already by the time this episode comes out. I should tell you about that. It's freaking huge. It's massive. I think I broke the code about trees, how trees can help you bend light. But that's not the point here. I had to drop a little promotional tidbit. But time travel, that's nuts. That's quantum mechanics. That is mathematician type stuff. What did he expose on your show?
Well, I kind of came up with the topics, okay, and then we kind of ran with it because our Keems had some videos. I just recently had some videos go viral too, by the way, just over some weird stuff. It wasn't even about cryptid. It was about the Earth losing gravity for 7 seconds on August 12th of 2026. And
this year,
my video, it's gotten almost 3 million views just on Instagram alone. It's crazy.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. It's weird. It's not even about a Bigfoot or a Dogman or anything. Okay. But our Keem had, every time I'd open up social media, I was seeing our Keem on there. And this past week, recently, and I was like, wow, for whatever reason, we're not being suppressed like we normally are with our social media platforms.
Yeah.
Something has changed. There's been a shift for whatever reason. And as soon as those e-files, you know what the e-files are? You know what I'm talking about? Where they were exposing all of the politicians, celebrities who were doing nefarious things, if you know what I mean. And so he was part of a lot of those programs, and he's been under heavy MK Ultra mind control. He was part of Phoenix Project, MK Ultra, Montauk Project, and like I said, he's been on my show plenty of times. I've done remote viewing targets for him, and to help him with some of his recall and stuff of some of the things he's experienced. But he was actually on that island, okay, and he has been abused. He's been part of all that. So I brought him on my show. He actually contacted me because he said I guess I can say this publicly. He said, I need to be hidden kind of in the spotlight right now because I'm in danger for what I'm exposing right now. And so I said, come on my show and let's put you in the spotlight. Okay. And so that's what we've been doing. We were actually talking about, I asked him about AI generating our history. And that may sound really out there, really weird, right? But I've been hearing that lately, and it makes all the sense. Okay, it makes all the sense. Like, have you seen that picture? It's like a side by side of Mr. Epstein and then Thomas Jefferson. I think it's Thomas Jefferson, maybe, and they look like identical twins. And it's like, well, how is that? And I started thinking when we were talking, I was like, what if that was AI generated? And maybe that's not what Thomas Jefferson looked like. If that's Thomas Jefferson, it might have been somebody else. I don't know who it was. But what if a lot of our history has been, we know that it's been hidden from us. We know that things are not what they seem. We know we've been lied to. So why wouldn't they push it in our faces? This like Luciferian satanic agenda they got going on where everything is flipped upside down. Why would they not make everything, AI generated? And I mean, there's time travel involved. There is, ritualistic things involved. And there's so many things that are connected. It just blows my mind. And Arkeem said, absolutely, as being a time traveler in some of these programs, we've talked about this before. I knew he'd be a good person to talk to about this. And we've talked about Project Pegasus. We didn't bring that up on our show, but in Project Pegasus, there's Andrew Basiago is a gentleman who is in the military. He's got the credentials. He's actually talked about how he was part of Project Pegasus, and this is a time traveling Project Looking Glass type of program.
Wow.
Where they were sending children. Now this is Montauk Project stuff. Okay, what Arkeem's been a part of. Sending children back in time to give messages to our president.
Shut
to change
the front door.
It changes the course of our history. Just think about Mandela effects, right? Think about all of this. It's all connected.
Yo.
And there's actually a picture of Andrew Basiago as a child at Lincoln's address at Gettysburg.
Okay, that was a mouthful. Many different parts to break down. I have to amplify on a scope. I have to scope this down. Let me filter this in. When you said sending children back to our presidents so they can alter our history, make better decisions so that our country can go better or grow longer or stay alive for a longer period. You know what's funny, bro? If we have the capabilities to expunge World War II scientists from the Nazi era, right? And all the gold, all the bankers, and all the military might on our side for the past 60 years in the world. And we had to invest in one national security weapon. What would you do? And then this is findable. Hashtag look it up. There it is. Find the famous phrase. This is findable, tangible information of interdimensional and light bending patents by the military, the US military. So if you wanted to invest into a national security in something that was that would obliterate all your enemies, it would be the future. And I'm not talking about the next iPhone. I'm talking about how to send people back to the future like they told us in the movie, right? to tell everybody how to do the right thing and take the right decisions and pass the right laws and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and create the right things and then come back so that we can continue to be a world power. That's just at a basic level. Think about all the different demonic things that they're using it for. And how long until they reach to ancient times and start altering the history of our ancient ancestors?
All right, I want to make something very clear. I never said they sent them back for the betterment of our country.
What? Okay.
I never said that.
You didn't say that.
Now, you would assume they would do that, but look who we've had in power. And with the release of these files, the e-files, as we're going to call them, we have presidents that were allegedly doing horrible things to children and people. We have people and politicians, celebrities. They don't have humanity's best interests at heart. They are obviously, it is shown in these papers. I'm not saying this because I believe, this is my opinion. I'm saying this because of the documentation. This is the facts of what we've been shown from what we know. They are in a complete transhumanist type of dare I say reptilian or
that's
satanic.
A real agenda. That's a real
That's their agenda. Yes. So the people who have been in charge are not for humanity's best interest. And those are the people who have been kidnapped. When I say kidnapping children, I mean that, like taking homeless people, young people, old people, all alike. I mean, the people that I am friends with who've been parts of these programs have been will be traumatized until the day they die. It is horrific, the things that these people have gone through at the hands of our government. And so they're not, if you think they're sending back kids to give messages to our presidents, George Washington, Lincoln, you name it, Kennedy, whatever, you can't just assume that they're giving them the messages that are going to advance the United States of America to be the power. They're going back and it could be sabotage. Now, I'm just saying this as an opinion. This is my opinion. I don't know. And this is what I've talked about with, my friends and stuff. But as an educated guess, I'm going to say educated guess, I would assume they did not have always our best interest in mind. And there's always an agenda, right? There's always an agenda.
It's an epidemic, dude. Wow.
It is. Yeah.
So just to go back full loop, the AI generated history. So there's a film that came out in 1999, one of the best films in the world. Still to this day, one of my favorite films, The Matrix. And in The Matrix, there's a spot where Neo is right behind their posse. He's already inside the Matrix again, and he was awakened. And he looks at the black cat, and then the black cat repeats itself, and there's deja vu. And then he goes, deja vu. And he goes, what did you say? He goes, deja vu. Like, oh, that's normally when something has been changed in the Matrix, right? So now, if this is just me theorizing here. If you have Elon Musk's face, the guy from the E-Files face as Jefferson, could it be that was probably a glitch in the system?
It could be anything. Listen, I think that with the AI, so the conversation that I just recently had with my friend Arkeem Ra, who's the time traveler.
You guys got to go check out that conversation in her channel.
It's fantastic. But here's the thing, like, I actually brought him on and I wanted him to kind of give his opinion on some pell crawlers that we've been seeing. I'm a Bigfoot field researcher. I do cryptid field research. I go out and chase dogmen and anything that's not supposed to be real, I go chase it in the woods. I'm a monster hunter. Been doing it since 2011. I'm hardcore. I go sleep in hammocks in the middle of dogman infested areas and stuff. I love it. That's what I do for fun. I'm also trained in remote viewing. And I also have a podcast where I talk about all this called The Cryptid Huntress.
That's right. Make sure you check her out.
Yes. But here's the thing. Like, I brought him on my show because I was showing him all this epidemic. I'm calling it an epidemic of pell crawler sightings. Your audience might know them as rakes. These like long, tall, lanky, white, pale, alien looking beings that are seen. They're all over the place. and they walk on all fours sometimes. Sometimes they walk upright, and they're hunched over, and their legs are bent at the knees. They're weird. And there's been a lot of recent videos of these things all over the Appalachian Mountains. I live in Georgia, right in the middle of it, pretty much the southern tip of the Appalachians. And
Wow.
and so there's all these videos. You can go on TikTok, our trusted news source. Just kidding. But go there. I'm kind of kidding, but I'm also not. I trust them over CNN any day. Okay. But you go and you check out all these videos, these pale crawlers, and there's ring camera videos, CCTV, camera videos in people's backyards of these pale crawlers looking in their windows, climbing on their kids' play sets outside, walking down their driveways in the woods, stalking their pets. You name it, they're doing it. And we're trying to figure out like what is going on here. And the more the deeper you go into these rabbit holes, the more you see that there's a lot of technology that humans have to create things like this. And I'm not saying that pale crawlers are not real. They are very real. We've experienced them as my teams. Cryptid warfare. You just had, you've had Drewski on your show recently.
Yeah, absolutely.
Past month or two, and he and I have done several investigations together, and he actually was. I don't want to say, I'm not going to say dumb enough, but because he's not dumb at all, he's smart. But he whistled in a cave in one of our investigations, and sure enough, something like a pale crawler peeked its head out from behind the shadows at the very back of the cave. Their ropes had run out, so they couldn't go further into this cave, and I think there was a pale crawler in there. Okay. Wow. But anyways, we got to start looking at things a little differently now, especially in the cryptid community. What's real and what's, dare I say, like Project Bluebeam kind of stuff. Okay.
Okay.
And what I've experienced is very real, at least in my reality up until now. I don't know anymore. I'm having a hard time. I'm having an existential crisis. Okay. The things that I've experienced are flesh and bone. They are real creatures like Bigfoot stuff. But then we have things like orbs. I just had another woman on my channel recently. Her name is Desiree Foley. She's with a group called Mind Nexus. And they actually are testing people for frequencies that are emitting from their bodies. And we're talking about frequencies that are patented, and people who are claiming to be part of these secret space programs. Okay? Because I've worked with all these people, right? And if I were to think that I was part of a secret space program, I would love to get tested to make sure I wasn't under just mind control by some company. Companies like MIT, Raytheon, Harvard. There's a bunch of companies.
What's her name?
Her name is Desiree Foley with Mind Nexus.
That research rings a bell. I'm going to tell you why. You said mind control. You said many different things. So again, and I'm not trying to throw a promotion here, just a quick little tidbit. There's a portion in the book that it's called The Concrete Jungle, and I call it the Demon Stone, where they're disconnecting us by instead of using granite and limestone and marble to create our homes and churches and our places where we live, in our ground and our roads, we're using concrete. Then I went into how many times have concrete bunkers and has been used in military applications. Turns out that there's research to back this up, scientific research, that they have weaponized concrete to either contain, amplify, or reflect frequencies. So when you're telling me that our bodies have been tested for different frequencies, and then I look at all the danger that people put themselves and then put their children through in these smart cities, in these urban areas, I start thinking that is the biggest programming of human body, of cellular surrender with stone at a mass scale.
Yes. And they had us get rid of our lead paint at some point as well. And that's a multifaceted issue right there, because they told us, the kids are going to eat the chipped lead paint. Kids aren't eating chipped paint. They aren't. But that's what we were told. The kids will eat it and they'll get brain damage, right? Well, really, they just wanted to be able to look into our houses with all this
And we
technology.
still have autism off the walls. So
Right.
what brain damage, right?
Well,
So what the
because
heck?
because the parents are allowing their children to be injected with all those with the lid, basically. I'm not saying it's lid. This is for entertainment purposes only. You know what I mean? It's willingly, and
Yeah.
it's really sad. But Desiree actually, her group, her organization has a test, a scan that they do where they put you into a hyperbaric chamber almost. It's some kind of like a Faraday room, and they can test your body. There's 0 frequencies in there, zero in, 0 out. Well, there's some that are coming out of your body, and all of these frequencies have to be patented. So all of these big corporations have their frequency. You can identify who the frequency is. Now think about it. All the things that are coming out of those lines in the sky, our foods, injections, you name it, whatever, however people are getting it. Somebody told me the other day that they think that Q-tips actually have that on the end of them. You can put this technology
Shut
inside of your body
up,
that
dude.
way.
Get the
Yes.
crap out of here, bro.
Q-tips. Yes. Maybe not the name brand, but you know what I mean. And and so she said basically we all have this inside of us in some way or another. And at the flip of a switch, whatever company owns that frequency that we have inside of us, we all have different frequencies. We can come under complete mind control. Complete. That means bodily functions, complete zombies and robots. And it will happen on a mass scale. All it takes is one flip of a switch, one push of a button. And that's the plan.
Ouch. As she was speaking, I was telling my assistant here to freaking find me patents on frequencies. And she goes, yes, frequencies are absolutely patent and weaponized. Governments and corporations hold patents at direct sound, microwave, infrasound, and EM frequencies used for crowd control, surveillance, behavior disruption, and non-lethal weapons. This is not sci-fi. This is paperwork. Hashtag look it up. Wow. Killer show, dude.
Mind blown, right? Hopefully our minds will not be literally blown one day because of all this. Just saying, right?
And with that note, I like them short and spicy. Thank you so much for just stopping by today. Jessica Jones, the cryptid huntress. Make sure you check her out. Let her know one more time when they can find you.
You guys can find me over on my YouTube channel. It's the Cryptid Huntress. And also I have a website called thecryptidhuntress.com. Just look up the Cryptid Huntress, Jessica Jones. And thank you for having me.
You're one badass mother trucker. I'm telling you that right now. I admire you. I'm a big fan of you. Thank you so much for doing what you're doing. Thank you so much for stopping by. It means the freaking world to me, believe it or not. Now I got to go back to my real life. But however, I want to remind you guys today that engagement is the blood life of our show. Engage. It's okay. You don't sub. I get it because I'm a Trumper. I get it. Listen. I know. But if you engage and let me know what you think, then we can make some changes, And it's the blood life of our work. I do this for free. This is a passion project. And you know what? You may never know where I might be tomorrow. Drop a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. That allows other people to enjoy the show as much as I enjoy making it. Be humble, but don't you dare be invisible. Yeah. Woo, that was beautiful, dude.